don't know Erica personally, but watching her as a fellow Christian, as a fellow mom, as the person for Charlie Kirk who truly knew him, loved him, and the only person really that because of that is able to carry on his legacy, like I just felt.
We've all seen the headlines, the viral clips, the nonstop arguments flooding social media. Erika Kirk, the widow of conservative firebrand Charlie Kirk, stepping into the spotlight with a confidence that feels almost too composed for someone still deep in mourning. But what if the story we've been fed isn't just incomplete? What if it's been carefully engineered? Because right now, that narrative is cracking apart. And the questions are stacking up faster than anyone can answer them. This isn't simply about a woman grieving in public. It's about erased relationships, distorted timelines, and a network of connections that stretches far beyond what we've been told. And at the center of it all, one name keeps resurfacing like a warning sign no one wants to acknowledge.
But she didn't call for war. Erika did not call for war. In fact, she did the exact opposite, which is what was so stunning. It was unbelievable. The forgiveness that she granted, the strength that it took for her to call for that forgiveness, it's just unmatched, and it really made a difference. And I was being serious when I tweeted that I think it was the most consequential speech in American history.
Let's start with the moment that reignited everything. Just weeks ago, Erika appeared on stage at the University of Mississippi, warmly introducing Vice President J.D. Vance. The hug, the quiet exchange. Her words, "No one will ever replace my husband, but I do see similarities between Charlie and Vice President Vance." That single moment lit the internet on fire. But while cameras focused on speculation about chemistry and symbolism, something far more troubling was hiding in the background. Because Erika's past isn't just being questioned, it appears to be actively rewritten. Enter Kat Phillips, senior editor at the Daily Wire, a former partner whose presence has been almost entirely scrubbed from Erika's public history. But the internet doesn't forget. Dig far enough and you'll find the 2017 Instagram posts, the art dates, basketball games attended with Charlie Kirk himself, captions that made it clear Erika and Kat weren't just friends. They were together. And yet, by 2018, when Erika claims she first met Charlie, Kat completely disappears from the narrative. No mention. No acknowledgement. Just a missing chapter. That isn't a mistake. That's a deletion. And once you start pulling on that thread, the entire image Erika presents begins to unravel.
Kids did you guys want to have?
We wanted to have 4. Yeah. And I was praying to God that I was pregnant when he got murdered.
Oh, wow. I thought of that once. Just like whether it was meant to be or whether
I know.
we'd get news like that.
I was like, oh goodness, that would be the ultimate blessing out of this catastrophe.
Now let's talk timelines, because this is where the story really starts to break. Erika has repeatedly stated in interviews and public statements that she didn't date anyone for 5 full years before meeting Charlie. 5 years of celibacy. 5 years of waiting. Except the evidence says otherwise. In 2015, she was photographed at a Trump rally standing beside a man who closely resembles her then-boyfriend, professional baseball player Tyler J.T. Massey, a man she publicly called her incredible boyfriend. In Arizona Foothills magazine, there were even engagement-style photos circulating online. No marriage license? Fine. But this wasn't casual. Then there's footage from Summer House in 2018, where Erika is seen drinking, flirting, and saying she'd lived in New York for 4 years, directly contradicting her later claims of a quiet, isolated life. So which version is real? But the Kat Phillips connection is the real landmine. Because Kat isn't just an ex. His father, Tim Phillips, was one of the most powerful Republican operatives in the country, former president of Americans for Prosperity, the Koch network's political engine. Tim resigned in 2021 under the vague but ominous phrase, personal impropriety. And Kat's brother? An assistant pastor at Cornerstone Chapel in Virginia, a church former members have described as cult-like, with allegations of coercive control and financial abuse. Then there's Kat's infamous pizza tattoo, a symbol Charlie Kirk himself once linked to coded language used by criminal networks. Coincidence? Maybe. But when Kat is photographed with Charlie in 2017, the same year Kat was dating Erika, while Erika claims she didn't meet Charlie until 2018, the timeline doesn't bend. It breaks.
My friend gets shot in the neck. Yeah, that's what happened. I just want to say that he was publicly executed again before the world. The question is why, right?
And then there's the meeting. 2 days before Charlie Kirk was gunned down at Utah Valley University. According to Candace Owens, Charlie's security chief, Ryan Harpole, attended a private gathering on September 8, 2025. And who was allegedly there? Cat Phillips. Owen says an eyewitness placed him in the room, standing alongside the man responsible for Charlie's safety. Cat hasn't denied it. He hasn't addressed it. He's gone silent. No Daily Wire appearances. No social media activity. That's not transparency. That's retreat. Now connect the dots. Within days of Charlie's death, Erika takes control of Turning Point USA. Soon after, she aligns publicly with J.D. Vance. She positions herself as the movement's future. It feels seamless. Too seamless. Which raises the question, was this succession accidental or orchestrated?
You told your children that Charlie was going on a work trip with Jesus. Are they still asking, where's Daddy?
Yes, my daughter continues to ask, but it's really sweet because I keep explaining to her a few things. And I said, if ever you want to talk to Daddy, you just look up to the sky and start talking to him. He can hear you. He's always in your heart.
Then there's the pregnancy. The child Erika claimed to have prayed for after Charlie's death. The miracle meant to rise from tragedy. And yet, no photos. No visible pregnancy. No documentation. In an era where everything is shared, that silence is loud. Especially when you consider timing. Cat Phillips allegedly became a father in March 2024. Erika's child with Charlie was born only months later. The math doesn't work unless something much bigger is being hidden. Add in the whispers about Erika's work in Romania, the so-called Romanian Angels Project, allegedly tied to questionable humanitarian operations. Reports claim she may even be barred from entering the country. And then there are the texts Charlie sent Candace Owens back in 2018, messages where he spoke of dreams about being taken out, about not finishing what he started. I might not see this whole thing through. If Charlie sensed something closing in, who did he trust? And who didn't he?
And he was publicly executed. I want to make that clear. Charlie Kirk was publicly executed before the world. And as we're all searching for answers, the ones that are being supplied to us are not making a lot of sense. And some people, I would say, are speaking too much, are speaking on behalf of other people.
Right now, the pieces are scattered, but the picture is coming into focus. A carefully scrubbed past. A network of powerful political operators. And a tragedy that may not have been random at all. The hug with J.D. Vance? That's surface level. The real story lives in deleted posts. Quiet meetings. Sealed records. And if Cat Phillips was in that room 2 days before Charlie's death, if he helped erase his own history with Erika, then we're not looking at gossip. We're looking at a setup. The trial of Tyler Robinson is approaching. Erika is demanding cameras and transparency. But what if the truth isn't in the courtroom? What if it's in the shadows, in the relationships we were never meant to see? Because one thing is becoming painfully clear, Erika Kirk didn't stumble into this role. She was placed there. And the real question isn't who put her there, it's why.
He was not silenced. His movement is only beginning. The voices of millions globally have been awakened, furthering his cause and mission far beyond anyone's comprehension. We won't cower in fear. We will never surrender. We are resolved to live free from lies and seek out.
The deeper you dig, the clearer this becomes. This isn't just about Erika Kirk's personal contradictions or her complicated romantic history. This is about power, deliberate, calculated power, moving through a network that was already in place long before the public caught on. At the center of that network sits Turning Point USA. TFUSA was never just a student activist group. It was a machine. One Charlie Kirk built with intention. And after his death, that machine didn't hesitate. It didn't pause. It didn't fracture. Within days, Erika was installed as CEO. Within weeks, she was sharing stages with J.D. Vance. Within months, the organization was quietly pivoting toward a 2028 strategy that aligned perfectly with Vance's political trajectory. That's not grief. That's a handoff. Because organizations like Turning Point don't improvise leadership transitions. They plan them. And when you follow the money, tens of millions in donor funding annually, you start to see what was really at stake. These donors weren't just funding rallies. They were funding a pipeline. A system designed to groom, position, and elevate loyal figures into power. Charlie didn't just want influence. He wanted control. And somehow, after his death, everything accelerated.
Charlie's. So I don't listen to Candace's show, but I am 100% convinced that Charlie was by Tyler Robinson, a crazed leftist who him because he didn't like Charlie's messaging on the.
Now let's talk about J.D. Vance, because his sudden alignment with Erika Kirk isn't rooted in shared mourning. It's rooted in shared ambition. Vance wasn't a distant ally. He was a protege. Handpicked. groomed, positioned as the next phase of the movement. And what does he do after Charlie's death? He doesn't just attend memorials. He takes over the tour. He steps onto Charlie's stages. He appears on Charlie's platforms. At the University of Mississippi, he wasn't paying tribute, he was auditioning. And Erika was the one who opened the door. She stood beside him, publicly drawing parallels between Vance and her late husband. She spoke about reclaiming territory, about feeling Charlie's presence urging her forward. But whose territory was really being reclaimed? Because Turning Point isn't just an organization, it's a brand. And brands, in the wrong hands, can be weaponized. If Vance is now the face of that brand, then Erika isn't just a grieving widow. She's the gatekeeper. And once again, the Phillips family enters the frame. Tim Phillips didn't just work in conservative politics, he shaped it from behind the scenes. Americans for Prosperity was a kingmaker operation. And when Tim was forced out under that vague cloud of personal impropriety, it signaled something had gone seriously wrong. Now his son's name keeps surfacing around Erika, around Turning Point, around Charlie's final days. Coincidence or pattern?
It's some kid who has a boyfriend who's a furry, and
His boyfriend is a
talk to him on
furry?
Discord. I think he's a furry.
Is
I don't
that
want to disrespect.
I don't know if that's a
He's
real
definitely
thing.
Is that? His boyfriend's definitely a guy who became a girl.
And wears furry stuff.
I think they do furry or furry games.
Here's where it gets impossible to ignore. Cat Phillips didn't fade away after his relationship with Erika ended. He resurfaced inside Turning Point's orbit. After Charlie's death, Cat began appearing at events, touring, aligning himself with the very organization his ex now controlled. That isn't random. That's re-entry. And when you combine that with allegations that Cat was present at a private meeting with Charlie's security chief just 48 hours before the shooting, the implications are chilling. Why would someone from Erika's past be meeting with Charlie's security team at all? What was discussed? And why has no one provided answers? Because this isn't just about one woman or one tragedy. This is about a system, a network that doesn't react to events, but positions itself ahead of them. Turning Point was never just an idea. It was a farm system, a way to identify, train, and deploy political assets. And when you look at the names involved, Vance, the Phillips family, major donors, longtime operatives, you start to see the outline of something far bigger than coincidence. Charlie once texted Candace Owens that he might not see this whole thing through. He compared himself to Moses, the leader who never reached the promised land. That wasn't fear. That was foresight. And if Charlie saw it coming, who else did?
You don't have to shoot a lot. I could do it tomorrow.
If you're no, but you are experienced. If it's someone that's never shot, could they do it?
100%. Not
Really?
if they've never shot. They wouldn't know where to look. They'd have a hard time acquiring the like when you look through a scope. Like when the reticle is weird. Like it's sometimes
Takes a minute.
You got to know the distance that you have to be from it to really line it up in your sights. But you could get a guy like my friend Andy Stump, who was a sniper in the SEALs. You could get him, and he could show you.
Finally, there's the financial reality, because nothing at this scale happens without money moving precisely where it's meant to. Turning Point's budget wasn't designed for survival. It was designed for succession. And when you look at how smoothly power shifted after Charlie's death, Erika stepping in, Vance stepping forward, Cat reappearing, it raises an uncomfortable question. Was this always the plan? Organizations like this don't just hope for successors. They manufacture them. And if Erika was always meant to lead the next phase, if Vance was always meant to be the political face, if Cat was always meant to be the connective tissue between factions, then Charlie's death wasn't just a tragedy. It was a transition. And that's the part that should make everyone uneasy. Because if relationships can be erased, timelines rewritten, and tragedy leveraged to preserve power, then this wasn't a one-time event. It's a blueprint. The trial of Tyler Robinson is approaching, and Erika is calling for transparency. Cameras in the courtroom. Public scrutiny. But what if the real truth isn't on trial at all? What if it lives in boardrooms, donor lists, and meetings that happened long before anyone heard gunshots? We know the players. We know the contradictions. What we don't know yet is who's next. Because if this was a play, the script isn't finished. It's just moving into the next act. And the lead role? She's already on stage.